Ty Bartell, Anthony Hartwig, another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we go all the way up to Akron, home of the Archbishop Hoban Knights, with the girls basketball head coach, Pamela Davis, joining us this evening. Pamela, how are we doing today?
Great. We just got done with practice and I'm ready to go.
How are the practices looking right now with the girls? How does everything look so far?
Well, the first week we didn't have our entire team because our soccer girls went deeper into the playoffs. So we were able to kind of get our bench and our younger kids that don't have a lot of experience, some experience during practice. But now we've had about 5 practices with everybody there, and it's heating up, and they're competing quite well.
Yeah, competing well, and we know that the summer months are meant for building the frameworks and building the foundation of what the season's going to be. But this last 2 weeks, it's all about tightening everything and trying to make sure everything is as good to go as possible for game one. So my question is, what's on your checklist of things you want to see from your team before we get to game one?
Well, we have a scrimmage tomorrow against Western Reserve Academy in Salem, both very highly successful programs. And so, really, what I'm focusing in is the defense. We got to be able to get stops together. We got to recognize who the best player on the other team is and enforce our will 94 feet. So I've always been pressure defensive type of coach. And so that, this year is no exception. We don't have a truly dominant center, so I'm looking for more perimeter scoring. And so we have some sets and everything that will hopefully get our shooters open.
What's the feeling like going into this year, and what were some of the takeaways after last season? I know it wasn't the dominance we were used to seeing in the regular season, but you still won that district championship when all was said and done. What were your takeaways from last season going into this season with this unit?
Well, we were very young last year. Now, granted, we did have 3 senior starters from a year ago that have graduated, but now my freshmen are sophomores and they have a year of experience under their belt, and so they're very hungry. So we definitely don't want to lose 10 ball games like we did a year ago, but our goal still is to defend our titles.
Let's go into that roster you have. I want you to kind of have the meet the team segment, introduce us to your players this year, and let us know who to watch for when we're going to Hoban.
Well, we returned 2 of our starters from a year ago. Senior Mackenzie Edinburgh will start at the 2 guard for me. She's a nice long range shooter, but she's got a nice blend of being able to defend as well as shoot the 3. And that's kind of unique in today's society. And then I really have my blue collar worker, sophomore Mackenzie Grant, who can really defend all 5 positions, but primarily guarded the best interior player for me a year ago. I'd like to see her increase her rebounding average from 7 to maybe 10, and definitely get some more points off the glass for second shot opportunities. And then we come off the bench from a year ago with junior Finley Kennedy, who's a swing player. She can play the 2, 3, or the 4 for us. Kathleen Jones, who's a 6'1" sophomore, gives us some height in the middle. And she's also improved. And then we have Naira Stevens, who was very dynamic in a lot of games a year ago, possesses really nice athleticism and spark. She offensively rebounds very well, and she's a nice slasher to the basket. And then we have our 2 point guards, Taylon Banta, who's a sophomore, as well as senior Maya Pooler.
I mean, this girls basketball team, no different than any other Hoban athletic team. I mean, you guys are scheduling up, you're scheduling tough. Shout out some of these games you're excited for the girls to be tested against this season.
Well, we're playing in the first Ohio tip-off produced by Bernard Scott, who's a Youngstown native, and we're going to be opening up with Youngstown Ursuline. I'm very looking forward to playing at the Thrill of the Ville at Westerville South against Gahanna Lincoln. We have Laurel, who's got the top 3 player in the nation on their roster. We're bringing in Toledo Rogers, Toledo Start, who have first team All-Ohioans. We're going into your hometown, Anthony, South Range Raiders. We're playing Hathaway Brown and Louisville. So we have not ducked or dodged anybody. We play everybody from Youngstown to Toledo down to Columbus and everywhere in between.
The buffet of Ohio, huh?
Yeah. Love seeing you back in that
Definitely
Holiday
road
Hoops Classic.
warriors for
Yeah.
us.
So the next question, of course, is the schedule prepping you for the tournament. How much do you think that schedule will prep you for the district tournament that, of course, you guys want to win?
Well, just like last season, we came into the tournament with 9 losses. We were the 6th seed, but I knew that the schedule that we put together was going to prepare us for the long haul, and it did exactly that. I think this year is no different. We're independent, and so we're kind of at the mercy who ever wants to play us. But I think again, it's going to be a highly competitive schedule with some top tier players that we have to defend against, and some great coaching staffs that we're going to have to strategize against. So I'm definitely looking forward to this journey.
Talk about the team a little bit. I mean, you said aspirations of having a better season than last year, too, better record wise, too. With that gauntlet of a schedule, what are you going to need to see from the team that you have right now to be able to accomplish that goal?
Well, we're setting kind of small goals. So we're looking like in 5-game increments. And so we have a team goal of holding teams to 40. We have another team goal of single digit turnovers. We're looking to out rebound our opponents, shoot more free throws or make more free throws than our opponent actually shoots. So we're looking at those, fine tuning those team goals. And, we just got to bring grit. My team is probably one of the fastest teams that I've had in a good while, and we have to impose our will on our competition.
One of the things that I like to ask when we bring Hoban coaches and players on is just the tradition of Hoban and being a part of it, and having an athletics, room that is so good. Whether you're talking football, volleyball, girls soccer had a deep run. Both basketball teams, boys basketball won state last year. What's it like to be a part of this athletic community and to look around the school and see so many good coaches around you and to just be a part of this whole Hoban family?
The culture is fantastic. There is no mediocrity that's accepted at Hoban, and we're glad to be a part of that culture. I told the girls and the parents actually at our parent meeting last night that we want to parallel the boys football team. That's where we want to be. We want to be contenders year in and year out. And I know that we got to have players, but we also have to have those, those ladies who want to gut check and produce when, the game's on the line. And volleyball went undefeated in the regular season. As you mentioned, Anthony, the soccer team went to the regionals again, back-to-back district titles. And it just really forces all of our athletes, to compete at the highest level. And they welcome that challenge day in and day out.
For you, does the playbook start to broaden itself, or do things get more basic as the girls get experience under their belt like they have from last year to this year?
Well, it's kind of nice because we return like 10 roster spots from a year ago. So a lot of the preseason has been like review. And our playbook, you can ask any of our players, is we call it AP basketball. So we have different schemes for, odd man front zones or even man front, man to man, if they're pressing, if they're pack lining it. And the girls are, highly intelligent, and they really grasp the playbook. And it's a nice welcome. For me, I can call a play and they get right into it and they can execute it.
Coach, I want to ask you about your staff. Obviously, you get all the interviews, you get all the limelight, but we know that you have a great coaches behind you that are helping you make this program great. I want to give you the time to highlight the people that are helping you.
Oh, absolutely. There's no way a head coach can do anything on their own. You have to have a great staff. And I have 3 major supporters of the program. And obviously, I'm going to start out with my husband and basically co-coach, if you will. He's been with me for the whole entire 34 years that I've been part of Round Ball, and that's Willie Davis. He's in charge of developmental guard play, and then also our defensive schemes. Dave Nash, who's been with me about 9 years, he is in part of our post-play development and substitution patterns. And then my JV coach is Danielle Howe, and she does all of the JV guard work because she was a great point guard in and of herself.
One of the running themes for coaches this year is just talking about the love of the game, because I feel like that's the thing that unites all of us too, whether we're on the sidelines, on the floor, in the press box, doesn't matter. We all love the game. That's why we come back and do it. Where did that love for the sport of basketball start for you? Do you have a specific time period or a point in time that you remember?
Absolutely. It all started back with my grandfather. He was a coach at Youngstown Ran for football. He also coached at South Range as a football coach. And he just had a love for sports in general. And fortunately for me, my dad was 6'7". And so all of my sisters and I are tall. And so we just kind of fell into that stereotype kind of basketball and put the hoop up in the yard, and the rest was history.
Coach, give the Hoban community the shout out and get them excited for the first game. When can they first see Archbishop Hoban on the floor?
Well, if you want to see preseason, we have a scrimmage tomorrow, Western Reserve Academy in Salem. But our official tip-off is November 26th against Ursuline. It's going to be hosted by Hiram College. And then our home opener is against Warren Howland on December 6th, which is our youth night. 5:30 and 7 p.m. starts.
I have a feeling I'm going to be at that one.
Ty's at both of those.
I think I'm at pretty much all Hoban home games too this season as well. So we will definitely cross paths during this year, Coach.
Looking forward to it.
We're absolutely looking forward to having another year of Hoban hoops on the girls' side and boys' side on the network. We here at YSN are rooting for you guys once again, and we can't wait to cross paths with you.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to support my kids, and shout out to all the Hoban alumni and current students and staff. Come out and watch your nights.
I could definitely second that.